Hello and welcome back, artists and designers. We're going to continue our robot build here, and we're going to review using some of the simple shapes in the Shapebuilder tool. So let's talk about simple shapes for a second. When you click and hold, you've got the rectangle, the ellipse tool, the polygon tool, the star tool, and these are some great tools to get you started building your robot. So let's go ahead and start with the ellipse tool, for example, right here. I'm going to go ahead and make the shape of the head on here. So I'm going to drag this out. And as I drag this out, you can see, again, if you want a perfect circle, you can hold that Shift key down. If you don't have to hold down Shift. The other thing that you'll notice is when you click and drag out, the way that you drag, you're starting in the corner and dragging it out. If you want to start on your line of symmetry, which sometimes is really helpful, I can go right to this line of symmetry. I can click here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the Alt key down on the keyboard, and that's going to leave my shape centered right along that line of symmetry. So that's a really great trick to know to use, is holding that Alt key down, starting in your line of symmetry, and dragging out from there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this circular shape, and I'm actually going to let it be kind of an ellipse. So I'm going to go kind of like that, and I'm going to let go, and you'll notice I'm building with just a stroke and no fill. The stroke's a little bit thick right now, so let's cut that back a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click and hold the rectangle tool right here. And I'm going to go ahead and make a shape right here. And go ahead and click like that. And this doesn't really have to be in the center, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Shapebuilder as a subtraction or an eraser tool here. So I'm going to select both parts like this. And by default, when you go over here to the Shapebuilder, you know that this is going to merge those shapes together. So if I do that, I'm going to get one big shape, that looks kind of like this. That's not necessarily what I want in this case. So I'm going to undo that. Again, you have to have the shapes that you want to build with selected. I'm going to click on Shapebuilder, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that Alt key down, PC, Option on Mac, and I'm going to go ahead and delete the parts that I don't want. So I can cut those out, and now I have separated this out into two separate pieces right here. So the simple shapes in the Shapebuilder are really great for combining multiple things together or cutting parts out that you don't want. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple other things with the simple shapes here. Let's go up to this eye area. So I'm going to zoom in up here. If I could zoom in, there we go. And let's work on these eyes. So I'm going to start with a rounded or a rectangle, and then I'm going to round out the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this out. And again, I can do that trick where I can take this and align it right to the center, or better yet, what I showed you last time, go to the center, hold the Alt key down. Oops, hold the Alt. Oh my goodness, let's try this again. Hold the Alt key down and drag out, and I am centered right there. Alternatively, you can always go down and hit the alignment, and that's going to align it right to the center. But let's take this, and now you know that I can click on this corner, and if I drag in, I'm going to round those out. So as a reminder, sometimes you want everything, sometimes you only want part of it. So I could click on this one, highlight it, I could hold Shift, click on this one, and now if I just wanted those top portions to round out, I could go ahead and just do that. And maybe for this one, I'm going to go ahead and leave it with that kind of look. That's really up to you. Again, use your original robot drawing as a guideline and make some edits along the way. Perfect. Let's add one more thing here. I'm going to go ahead and take the circles and add the eyes in here. So I'm going to hold that Shift key down, make that about the size that I want. V for the selection tool. I'm going to get this lined up right here. And then I'm going to show you one more quick thing. We want to get this eye over here, and I could hold my Alt key down and do the duplicate option, and I'm looking for those smart guides, but I'm not 100% sure. Is that lined up exactly where the other eye is? Well, let's try one more quick thing. I'm going to click on the eye right here, and then I'm going to go over here to what is originally going to be the rotate tool, but if I click and hold, you're going to see the reflect tool here. So I'm going to go ahead with this selected. I'm going to go to my line of symmetry, and I'm going to hold the Alt key down. I'm going to click once, and this window pops up right here, and it says, hey, you want to reflect this item, and you want to do it on this line of symmetry. Now I want to reflect it vertical along that line of symmetry, and I want to make a copy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit copy, and that will put the exact same circle that I drew lined up perfectly over on that other side right there. So that looks pretty good to me. Simple shapes, Shapebuilder, some basic tools for us here. Don't forget the polygon tool. When you click with that, you can click and drag out the polygon that you want. And then if you want to adjust it, once it's there, you can drag those sides out to modify it and get what you want. If it's a triangle or whatever, you can round out those corners, you can extend the size, lots of fun things you can do with that simple shape. And I think that about covers it for this first part of the video here on building with simple shapes. Use as many simple shapes as possible to get you started, and in the next video we'll talk about using the pen tool, the curvature tool, and some other shapes to get more complicated things. All right, good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.